Joe Biden has done far more for the American people than Donald Trump ever did in his 4 years as president. Now, Democratic establishment is setting the alarms. I don't think you can replace Joe Biden. Joe Biden did beat Donald Trump in 2020. So Joe Biden has already defeated Donald Trump. And Joe Biden has done far more for the American people than Donald Trump did in his entire presidency. Because let's face it, Joe Biden expanded Obamacare. Joe Biden created the semiconductor chip jobs in America. He created the Green New Deal, the new green energy jobs bill, creating high paying energy jobs. It's not all going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen as time goes by. Biden has delivered. The deficit has decreased under Joe Biden. Joe Biden is standing up to Vladimir Putin. The investment in Ukraine is all about preventing Americans from getting drafted and dying in war. Biden has delivered for the American people. Biden will be reelected. I look at these stances from the GOP. They're not keeping up with the real world. They're not keeping up with Gen Z. It doesn't matter about Biden's mental state. Biden's not going to incite an insurrection if he loses the election like some other guy did, because he didn't want to get prosecuted for his bankruptcy cases and his criminal cases. That's why Donald Trump is desperate. This is why Donald Trump tried to overthrow democracy in 2020. And he will be a far worse version if he does take power. The Russians bail out his businesses. It'll be the end of America. As we know, we're not going to have a country left if Donald Trump is reelected. The scariest thing about all this is that we're under 4 months away from knowing where we're going to be as a country in the future. Democratic establishment is sounding the alarms. They're not going to get rid of Biden right away. Or, first of all, the people who want Biden to drop out of the race, who you want to replace Biden with? You're not going to replace Biden with Kamala Harris. She only got 1 to 2% of the primary vote. Kamala Harris is not going to be the nominee. She would lose an election. Now, that's why I have Ivanka beating Kamala in 2028. She's extremely unpopular. They're not going to have Biden drop out to please a few politicians who want to see him drop out. Because people like Biden more than Trump. He gave them their $1,200 stimulus during a time where many Americans were lacking money because of the COVID pandemic. No, why the hell you vote for Donald Trump? He's a divider and should be trying to divide America during a pandemic. No disrespect. He didn't take the COVID pandemic seriously. He tried to divide America during a crisis. At least Bush united America during 9/11. I mean, he couldn't even be like George W. Bush. He failed to unite the country during a crisis during COVID. Trump is a failure of a president. He can't even obtain a loan from a U.S. bank. He's completely beholden to Vladimir Putin. Now, the Russians are giving him money to bail out his businesses. So he is completely beholden to the Russian oligarchs. The Russians, they want Trump in power because Trump is going to become the Antichrist, and Trump is going to dismantle NATO, and we will be in World War III. Biden's not at his best mental state, but Biden did get far more done than Donald Trump has. Donald Trump is an imminent danger as far as our future relations go with our allies in Europe. And Donald Trump is going to hand Eastern Europe over to Vladimir Putin. We will be drafted. We will go to war because Ukraine is not going to receive any more money. And Donald Trump is like, we'll stop at Ukraine. Putin will not stop at Ukraine. I think most people know that he's not going to stop at Ukraine. When Donald Trump gives this guy the entire country of Ukraine, he will not stop at Ukraine. I guarantee that. I guarantee he's not going to stop at Ukraine. America getting itself into World War III would virtually bankrupt it. Donald Trump would virtually bankrupt this country. I know Putin and company, this is not going to be a winning war. Continue this, drag this on, have Russia run out of resources, end the war. Let's not have World War III. Let's not allow Russia to continue to invade the rest of Europe. We can't have that. We can't have to pay more money to take back land that Putin and his henchmen will take over, because that's what's going to happen. If we stop giving money to Ukraine's going to be taken over. Vladimir Putin's going to invade the rest of Europe. We're going to be finding ourselves in World War III with Donald Trump. This is mostly about World War III. We have to stop World War III. Vladimir Putin has always said they wanted to take back the former Soviet territories. The breaking apart of the USSR was the greatest political catastrophe of the 21st century, was what he said. Now, I don't think he'll go all in on Europe, but you'll certainly want to reestablish the USSR. This is his endgame. Even if the younger Russian generation, they grew up in a world where there was no USSR. So this war is very unpopular with the younger generation of Russians because they like democracy. We have a widespread, the ideas just spread across the world because of the internet. So it's harder for Russia to control what young people get their information from. But I know Putin will certainly try to want to hire the best, biggest, badass motherfucking mercenaries out there. Whichever part of the world that they come from, Vladimir Putin will do anything to bring these people in to be the most ruthless motherfuckers out there. We cannot allow the situation to get worse. I'm very confident the American people see that Project 2025 heavily favors the corporate elite. Make no mistake, Donald Trump is saying he had nothing to do with Project 2025 because it is highly unpopular. Donald Trump will be told to usher in Project 2025. Project 2025 is going to see a massive transfer of wealth from the people in the bottom, in the middle, towards the people at the very top. That is the fundamental premise of Project 2025. Is about transferring wealth to people who don't need it, but will still transfer wealth from the bottom and the middle towards the people at the top. Now, what's definitely going to cause more inflation that you talk about is raising tariffs on foreign goods. If foreign goods are cheaper, that should ease inflation. But tariffs inevitably are going to cause more upper pressures towards pricing of goods. So this tariff speak from Donald Trump is only going to make inflation worse due to that fundamental policy of what tariffs are about. The American good may be more expensive, but you're going to have to pay more for the cheaper foreign good is what tariffs are about. So Donald Trump is not going to help with inflation. Now, what makes inflation worse is when you have to print more money. When the deficit increases, you have to print more money. How is the deficit going to increase under Donald Trump? He's going to finance billionaire tax breaks. Where's the money going to come from? Well, he'll certainly cut the social services that people depend on. The Meals for Wheels, the food for the kids who can't afford it in the schools, right? All that good stuff. Donald Trump will get rid of that. There'll be hungry kids in classrooms. It's all going to go away. The social safety net's going to go away. I don't think Social Security is going to go away because it's a very popular program. Everybody likes Social Security, left or right, whatever. Green from Mars, everybody likes Medicare and Social Security. But what I think they'll do is they'll raise the age that you get Social Security. I think that's what they'll do. Certainly it's going to make things a lot worse. It will. We will not have a country. I believe the majority of America is moral enough to say we need our democracy. We can't have this guy who tried to overthrow democracy win the election. We can't have a guy pitting Americans against each other on Twitter or Truth Social. This guy's not a natural. He's not a natural leader. He doesn't bring people together. Even the most hardcore lunatic Donald Trump supporter will agree that he doesn't bring people together. He starts making America hate the left. No, it's the rigged Democrats. See, Barack Obama, when he made that DNC speech in 2008, Barack Obama was about not having divisive speech, not having divisive rhetoric. That's why people like Barack Obama so much. Barack Obama wanted to bring people together. He wasn't necessarily attacking the right during his DNC speech in 2008. See, Barack Obama was about bringing the country together, left or right. It doesn't matter. We all Americans and bringing people together because we are America. Donald Trump doesn't have that ability to do that. This is why the moral fabric of this country is going to collapse if Donald Trump somehow wins re-election. I'm going to close. And I will tell you that what's going to cost Donald Trump in this election will be the stances on abortion and climate change. There are a lot of one-issue voters. But when you have people who are inhabiting a much crueler planet to live in during the months of summer, where it just gets hotter and hotter every single year due to man-made activity. Republican Party is out of touch from what every American experiences through the hellish months of summer. It gets harder and harder and harder because of man-made activity. There's no denying that. We want something to do about that. But the Republican Party could care less about climate change because they're completely bought and paid for by fossil fuels. At least the Democrats can do something. At least the Democrats want to do something about that. But back to the general point. Biden won't resign because Kamala Harris is extremely unelectable. She only got 1 or 2% of the vote in the primaries. I don't. She did. She will. I mean, she will do bad under Donald Trump in the general election. Now, what I dislike about Kamala is that she's very divisive in nature. She cannot bring people together in her as an orator. Obama knew how to bring people together with his brilliant natural public speaking abilities. Kamala, all she knows how to do is attack Donald Trump and attack Donald Trump. Like, she doesn't know how to bring all Americans together. She'll be talking about, I'm going to help women, but she'll talk about helping women, but how's Kamala Harris going to be good for men out there? You know? So that's a problem for Kamala. That's a problem for Kamala Harris. She thinks she's going to be president for women and all of that. Like, that's a big problem that I have with her. I just think that people look at Biden like he's so innocent, that he's clearly old and demented, but he's not corrupt like Donald Trump. Biden's still electable despite his mental state. I think the DNC will allow Biden to go through, get elected, and if need be, they can invoke the 25th Amendment. He's not able to carry out his presidential duties. They invoke the 25th Amendment, and Kamala Harris is president, and then she'll lose against Ivanka in 2028. She'll lose against Ivanka in 2028. Kamala would lose against any Republican. I think Biden can win the election, and Kamala would take over as president, as vice president, but still she wouldn't do well in a general election. So yeah, Frank, we're screwed either way, and Democratic establishment is screwed either way. The Democratic establishment may win this election, but Kamala, man, we're fucked, man. I mean, Kamala, we're fucked, man. I mean, we're fucked. Kamala, we're fucked. It's gonna be easy for she's not gonna stand out with the women issues because Ivanka will say that she favors abortion because it's not the government's place to tell women what they can do with their bodies because it's small government. And what's government telling women what to do with their bodies? So Kamala can't even spew a hate campaign against the GOP anymore if that were to happen. So you can't really differentiate with climate change if the Republican Party ever embraces climate change. I think all this crap is supposed to happen with Ivanka Trump because she's supposed to win the election because she is part of the oligarchs. She's part of the wealthy establishment. She's part of the elite. She had a lot of trademark leniency during the days of Donald Trump with China, where you're not supposed to trademark stuff with China, but Ivanka, she could do that stuff with China. So either way, we screwed either way. And I know we are, and frankly, screwed either way. But I believe we cannot have Donald Trump in the office. I think we will move on from Trumpism, and I think the Republican Party is going to start to embrace the climate change and abortion battle. Definitely they'll be closer to embracing abortion versus climate change because they'll look at their electability. They're going to need to change their electability It's all going to be set up for Ivanka to express some ideas on what needs to happen for the GOP to be more electable while keeping that same billionaire economic agenda. It's the social issues that will bring some more people into the Republican Party. See, that's what's going to happen. So the Republican Party is a terrorist organization until they embrace climate change. Fossil fuel industry, you can invest in green jobs. You can buy stocks and, electric cars, whatever. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world for them, but they want to hang on to whatever left of that power that they have that the Republican Party will give to them. We need to fight against climate change today. Anyone who wants to vote Republican, they're deliberately destroying the planet. I think Bernie is right that climate change is the biggest threat to national security. People laughed at him 4 years ago, but he's absolutely right. We got to save the freaking planet. God damn it. Got to save the freaking planet. I'm fucking out here because this election's the most crucial election of her lifetime. War in Europe and Republicans start to pump more freaking pollutants into the atmosphere. Seriously, this is the election of our lives. I thought we were good after 2020, but damn, we have to go through Trump again. My God. It's the end of American democracy. It's over. The experiment is over. Is it going to continue? Is it going to continue on for another 10, 20 years until it'll collapse at some point like all great empires do? Some things will collapse. If this isn't an empire, it's an empire. It's going to collapse, right? It's going to collapse. I think the Saudis have taken they're off the dollar. They're not. I think they're off the dollar basically. They're not gonna back their oil with the dollar or whatever. It's gonna fuck shit up, man. It's gonna fuck shit up. They will never report that in the mainstream media. That's for sure. I think that happened a few months ago. They're gonna stop accepting U.S. dollars. At that moment in time, it will be absolutely screwed, and that will further weaken the dollar as there's less demand for the dollar. It will not be backed by oil. Their oil will not be backed by the U.S. dollar anymore. We live another day. We live another second. We live another hour. But damn, as all empires inevitably lead to their downfall, Donald Trump is a symptom of this systematic downfall. I don't claim to know all about politics, but God damn it, Ronald Reagan 50 years ago is a slow systemic collapse. It is. All these Republicans who think we're living in a socialist communist utopia. Why is it that the corporate tax rate is down from 35% in 2016 to 20% in 2020? It's quite the opposite. We're not living in a communist socialist utopia. Where are these Republicans coming from? We're not living in a communist socialist utopia. Communist socialist utopias don't have corporate tax rates go up from 35% in 2016 down to 20% under Joe Biden. We live in a corporate. This is not utopia, but the wealthy think this is a utopia, what they're living in. The wealthy be like, big freaking deal. We'll move our money to the next empire that we want to have somewhere else. That's all they give a damn about. God damn it. If Donald Trump is real, if Donald Trump is elected, we're going to war. Ukraine's going to get worse if Donald Trump is elected. Next conspiracy theory I'm hearing is that Secret Service deliberately allowed the assassin to shoot Trump. That's not a bad idea, actually. If you know what he'll do to help Vladimir Putin. So I can absolutely believe that theory. But I think most Americans are decent enough to know that Donald Trump is worse, that maybe Ivanka Trump. This is, I don't like anything Trump, but Ivanka could be the best thing that happened as far as electability is concerned in the Republican Party. Ivanka would be the best thing without needing to rig and suppress the vote of black people, what have you, of just embracing these kind of ideas that can bring more people into the Republican Party. And Ivanka used to be a liberal. She used to be a liberal with Kushner before Donald Trump got in the White House. So if Republican Party needs a new savior, they need a new Trump, then Ivanka's going to be the new Trump. It's just they'll be more left on social issues, but they'll keep the same economic agenda. That's the future of the Republican Party. This is how the Republicans have to draw in independents and centrist leftists in 2028. That's how they're going to do it. They're going to compromise with women on the government infringing on your right to do with your body. They're going to do more for the environment. They're going to claim that they're going to do more for the environment. Again, it's not just about predicting this result, but it's how I see the Republican Party changing in the near future. This is how it's going to change. I think Biden will be fine because, again, his legislative record is perfect. The Chip Semiconductor Act, Biden brought back chip jobs. Biden expanded Obamacare. Biden passed the Green Climate New Deal. Biden delivered. He expanded Obamacare. Now, he raised the tax rate. Biden raised the tax rate, but 20% is still lower than 35% in 2016. So are corporate Democrats going to raise the tax rate to 35%? No, because it's a scam. It's a fugazi, right? It's a fraud. It's a fraud. Corporate Democrats are not, because they're funding other wealthy too. They're not going to raise it to 35%. They're raising from 15 to 20%. That's nothing. It used to be 35%. You see? So that's how they're selling us short. Because they fund both sides right there. So they bastardize things, but they've done some good things. You see, but we don't get bipartisan infrastructure with the Republican Party under Donald Trump. He never passed infrastructure, Donald Trump. Why in the world would we want a Donald Trump presidency? You can't tell me a good reason why we need Trump except you hate Hillary Clinton and the Democratic establishment. But Donald Trump was friends with these same people. He was friends with Epstein. Clinton and Trump are both pedophiles. They're both pedophiles. It's not just Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, pedophile. It's QAnon, the pizza parlor, the pizza stand. No, Donald Trump is a pedophile as well. They're satanic pedophiles on both sides. Donald Trump is a pedophile. If it wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. This is you, Donald Trump. You want Donald Trump. He was like, yeah, with Hillary, and Bill Clinton in that one picture. And so they play on both sides like they both be bamboozled. Seriously. But this is systemic decline of America. I don't think they want to destroy America immediately. Donald Trump would be an immediate, imminent disaster. I don't think America's ready for that. If Saudi Arabia is going to take the oil off the dollar, it's not backed by the dollar, they'll trade in Chinese currency. I don't think we can afford a Donald Trump presidency. I don't think we can afford a presidency. You can't afford a Donald Trump presidency. I don't know who's going to bring people together. But Ivanka Trump, if she used to be a liberal, that maybe someone's going to bring liberals into the Republican Party in 2028 because obviously the Jews and AIPAC run everything, right? Bankers are Jews. AIPAC We give all these billions of dollars to Israel. So Ivanka Trump, Ivanka Kushner, first Jewish president, 2028. Donald Trump doesn't have no chance. If the Rothschilds are Jews, if the Rothschilds created the Balfour Declaration they allowed Hitler to attack because the plan was to have a homeland for the Jews. And this Balfour Declaration happened during World War I. Then Hitler came, then he wanted to kill them all, and that gives a reason to boot these Palestinians out of their lands, and we're dealing with this same issue that goes back to 80 years. As Palestinians continue to get kicked out of their homelands out there, it's a Jewish supremacy attack. They don't want anything what's left of Palestine. They don't want any mention of Palestine. They would obliterate Palestinians if they had the chance. Seriously, they would. Seriously, they would. They have Israeli intelligence. They have the Israeli army. Palestinians, they only have rocks to defend themselves, man. Because they brown like the Mexicans coming over the border, whatever your right-wing propaganda talks about. You think these people are savages? They're just defending what fucking little they have. The fucking land grabs that they have over there. Very little of Gaza exists by the second, by the day, by the month, by the year. Man, politics is fucking bullshit, man. Isn't it all bullshit? I think it's been a few years since I watched MSNBC and CNN. I'm forced to have to watch that because you have to pay attention to the RNC and the DNC and all this. Keep up with the election. You're going to have to watch the RNC and the DNC. Understand? You have to watch the MSN. I alternate between CNN and MSN and all of that. I mean, But yeah, it's all bullshit, it is. I think we'll be in a World War III if Donald Trump is elected because Donald Trump, he cannot get a loan from a U.S. bank. He was bankrupt. He relied on Russian money. He was friends with Vladimir Putin. So, again, I am very worried about World War III. Not because I think the right wing wants World War III, nothing of that nature. But Donald Trump is beholden to a ruthless dictator. There are certain people he can make friends with around the world, but he cannot make friends with dictators. I thought the right wing was they're not gonna fuck around with America. And that's what's missing from the Republican Party. You see, they used to be tough on Russia, but then Trumpism came along. It's a cult. It's like Kim Jong-un. That's the North Korean leader's a cult. It's a cult of personality. They worship the dear leader. What happens in North Korea is no different than what's happening in the Republican Party today. Seriously. How many Democrats out there worship Obama like he's a god? I mean, Obama wasn't a great president. He was a good president who wanted to bring people together, but was he great? I don't think he was great. He was certainly still corporatist in a lot of ways, Barack Obama. He wanted to make friends even with some of the Republican donors out there, Barack Obama. No, Obama was neoliberal in a lot of ways. He didn't do anything about weed. He wanted to prosecute the weed and all that during the day before the state legalizations and all that, right? Obama's federal government was prosecuting weed and all that stuff, man, right? Obama wanted to make, he's a dual life path. He's very diplomatic in nature. That was Obama's downfall, was he was very diplomatic in nature, was what Obama was. But my first vote is Bernie Sanders, but this guy's a cuck. He's He all worships Biden now, man. Why can't Bernie just say, I need to be president? Hold my beer. Let me fuck that shit up, man. Bernie got to be president, man. This is a joke. Like, damn. God damn. This is crazy. It seemed like yesterday that Biden got inaugurated, that we're heading to much better days. Relative. Better than living with wearing a mask every day. It's going to take years, to be honest, until we see the effects of the Green New Deal and the CHIPS Act. Honestly. Biden had the ability to raise the minimum wage. I think the Democrats in the Senate did. They didn't do shit about that. But you see, living in the right-wing terrorist world where they want to gut all of the social safety net. They want to give Vladimir Putin land crabs in frickin' Eastern Europe, and we have to send more money. We're sending money to take back Ukraine, but you want to give money to Europe to take back, Belarus and Estonia. God forbid if Putin takes Ukraine and Trump weakens NATO, and he says, "Oh, well, we'll let Putin do what you want if you're not going to fight and do NATO," says Donald Trump. Trump is saying, "Nah, we got your back. You're not going to get invaded on." How in the world is Europe going to trust America ever again? We're not going to have any allies in Europe. They're not going to trust America anymore. We are not going to have our back from Europe if we get invaded. That is some of the repercussions that can happen from a Trumpist foreign policy. If we fuck over Europe and they have to defend against themselves against Vladimir Putin, how the hell are we going to get help from a Mexican or a Cuban or a Canadian invasion? God forbid. A whole entire coup of South America invades America? You see? Or God forbid if China invades the United States and Europe don't want to help us? That kind of thing is an investment that we have to continue to send some help over there. Yeah, I feel good, obviously. I'm enjoying this, obviously. But I'm very nervous. We live in uncertain times. Now, we did overcome unemployment and COVID, so we could do worse than what we're doing right now. Now, I think we can live with getting help from the government while being unemployed. But World War III, that's a whole other element that we want to avoid sending in boots on the ground. If he destroys NATO and invades Eastern Europe, we are in trouble. Putin will lose, I promise you that. If Donald Trump wins, Vladimir Putin wins. That's not exaggeration. That is a fact. He will seize a huge land grab if he wins this election. And we must do everything we can to vote and to stop Donald Trump. How is Project 25 good for any American? Can you explain to me how the right-wing Supreme Court denying women the right to abortions is good? What if it's a deadbeat guy, he can't afford the child support? Abortion is good for men too if they just want to have a lot of sex and they don't want to have any kids or anything. You see, I think abortion would be good for these deadbeat dads in a way. Trump is a fascist dictator. He will be defeated. He will be destroyed. Make no mistake. If Donald Trump says, I will be dictator only on day one, he wants to be a dictator right from day one. JD Vance called Trump America's Hitler. Maybe that's why he's Trump's running mate. Even for the wrong reasons, Donald Trump could have picked him because he likes that you call him America's new Hitler. You see, Donald Trump loves that. You call me Hitler. You know I want power, don't you, Mr. J.D. Vance? Donald Trump wants power and control. He's 39 years of age, and he barely has exposure in politics. J.D. Vance is someone who's not going to tell Donald Trump no. Donald Trump wants uninterrupted power. J.D. Vance, a young buck with barely 2 years of experience in politics, is not going to challenge Donald Trump. This is why he is his pick for vice president. He is a yes man. Mafia men love yes men. Trump has made friends with the mafia. Donald Trump would rather have a mafia-style way of controlling his subordinates, including J.D. Vance. Trump would love to be mafia man telling Mike Pence to overthrow democracy. If Trump tries to overthrow democracy, my oh my. But again, if you are familiar with, you see, most Americans have no fucking clue that Donald Trump is bankrupt, that he had to rely on Russian money to save his businesses. But you're a conspiracy theorist. It's reported news. That's a conspiracy theory. Seriously, bullocks. I think most Europeans know more about our freaking government than most people in this fucking country know about their fucking government. Well, you're a conspiracy theorist because you say Trump is either in the pocket of Vladimir Putin. I see. My, oh my. The news articles were there. I can dig all the way back to my playlist from the 2020 election that dates back from the entire cycle from 2016 to 2020. I knew Trump would lose in 2020. Now, a fascist dictatorship is a real threat that we live under. If I'm wrong about this election, it's because we're going to live under a fascist dictatorship. Ivanka Trump will not allow America to live under a fascist dictatorship. Ivanka Trump is going to bring more trust in democracy. Now, that's a person with a Trump name. She has a Trump name. Is your Trump bad? Donald is bad. Ivanka would be more willing to compromise. Dude, have you looked at Ivanka? How's that fucking hot, man? She's fucking fake as hell. Is that a natural beauty? No. Plastic. She's made out of plastic, man. What is up with guys out there that like fucking plastic surgery? Are these guys nuts? Yes, they are, man. Take note of what natural beauty is like, man. Man, she seems robotic. Does she even have ass? I mean, that's what I'd like to know, man. Such a skinny twig, man. I don't think guys like that, man. They be brainwashed by the magazines. I mean, it's all evolutionary, man, you see? Whoever can breed kids, that's why we attracted to ass. We attracted the boobs and all that, man. I mean, Ivanka, man, she looks like a Barbie doll, like a twig. But I do like Donald's daughter better than Donald Trump. I doubt most people are going to watch the entire stream. I would rather keep it at 3/4 of an hour than an hour. So I'll end the stream here in under 60 seconds. 47 minutes, I guess. President's come watch you 47. There we go. I don't know. Oh, compared to Lord Donald, to that fat Lord Donald, of course. Oh, fuck Kamala. She's a bitch. She's not even a liberal, man. She's a joke. She thinks she's black, but she's Indian, man. She's fake. This way Kamala's unelectable, man. She thinks she's black, but she's not even black. She's Indian, man. She's a joke. How can anyone like Kamala Harris? I'm a hardcore liberal, but man, she sucks. Biden's going to stay in this race because there's no other choice. Kamala is unelectable. There's no other choice. Biden has to stay in this race. He will stay in this race. He's got a strong-ass speech during the Democratic nomination. He's going to tell Americans what they should stand for based on the issues. This is what will save Biden in the Democratic convention. I've seen Biden speak at a rally the day after the debate against Trump. Where the hell was that Joe Biden against Donald Trump? It seems too good to be true. I mean, where the hell was this guy the night before? Seriously. I will upload some short clips of Biden. Seriously, where the hell was this guy at? I think that's the Biden that's going to show up in the DNC. Seriously. Jesus, miracle, resurrection, Biden's Catholic. That angle with Biden, we got to pay attention to that too, because he's done far more legislatively than Donald Trump ever did in his entire 4 years.